Hi everyone, I'm John KixMiller of the Protectors of the Wood. Thanks for tuning in to our podcast. I thought I'd show you the basil growing in the window and my favorite tree, and just thank you all for listening. Take care, everyone. The Protectors of the Wood podcast. Everything is at stake. This podcast tells the story of misfit teenagers struggling to band together and help our world through this crisis.
Episode number 51. Drama at the Toy Store.
Phoebe took a deep breath and stood up.
Well, I'm late for work, and it's a long walk. But there's so much for us to talk about, so much we've missed. We've never even mentioned the forest, and there are other things.
I know. Maybe it's my fault. That talk about George we had on the cliff?
Maybe it had to be this way. I'm happy today.
Me too. I'm very happy.
That's all I need to know. But now, I've got to get moving.
Hey, you want to ride on the tow truck?
You can't close the gas station without Jim here.
Yeah? Watch me.
He threw a few switches and was out the door in a second. Phoebe followed. He locked the door behind her and pulled down the garage doors and locked them. They walked to the side of the garage where Jeremy's old tow truck sat waiting, newly painted blue and white, with a bright red cylinder strapped to the top of the cab. They climbed in. The ancient motor began to rumble. He pushed the long stick shift into gear, and they rolled out onto Main Street like a tank. In a few minutes, Jeremy turned left and cruised along Bridge Avenue. A line of cars were double parked outside the coffee shop and the toy store. A crowd covered the sidewalk. Jeremy guided the tow truck through what was now a single lane. Phoebe felt on top of the world, looking down on the scene around her.
Can you see what's going on?
There's a few tables piled high with vegetables in front of the coffee shop. It's Chester's Green Market out on the sidewalk. The place is packed. Look, there's George taking pictures.
Jeremy double parked in front of Miracle's gift shop near the corner.
I guess Chester got tired of selling vegetables in the midst of a construction site. Did you know that Sammy's making changes for you guys? He's making a well-lit stage at the back of the shop.
Jeremy looked at her, leaned over and kissed her.
I feel that way too. I gotta go. See you tonight.
She descended to street level, walked back to the toy store, and entered a blizzard of activity. Over the next few hours, she sold 24 scooters and 14 bike helmets. Gilligan didn't have time to bawl her out for lateness. Despite the heat, the crowds kept coming. Many with bags of vegetables from Sammy's Green Market. Phoebe was too busy to open the backyard, but she allowed Luis to organize a soccer game there to get the kids out of her hair and stop the complaints from the courtyard. She had a free moment around 7 p.m. to visit the soccer game and got a big surprise. Luis had doubled the length of the field. Someone had rolled up the old wire fence dividing the backyards of the toy store and the coffee shop. Phoebe's red cones now marked out a decent-sized playing field. A 6-versus-6 game was in full swing, with spectators on the side. Phoebe had an idea and scrambled down to the basement, using one leg and swinging on the banisters 3 steps at a time. She grabbed the outdoor lights on yellow tripods with long extension cords and returned to the backyard. After 2 more trips, she'd gathered all the equipment to light the field and began placing the lights at opportune spots. She returned to grab another light and found Abby holding one.
Can I help?
Abby seemed calm and happy, as if no problems or dangers lurked nearby, and it was the most natural thing in the world for her to be there. Dusk was already settling over Middletown, and Abby wore all black, with a tight long-sleeve t-shirt and a black cap with the brim pulled down low over her eyes.
I'd love to have your help, but I'll wait till tomorrow night to try out these lights. Let's talk inside.
Abby nodded. They ran up the steps into the small back hallway. Phoebe immediately turned left, and Abby followed into what had once been the family kitchen, but now was a storage room with a small table and chairs. She flicked on the light, cracked the window open, and pulled the shade all the way down. The room felt like an oven. The noise of the soccer game surrounded them. They looked closely at each other.
How are you? Everything okay? I saw you at the concert. There was a man out front looking for you. He drove the green car I saw at the haunted house.
You haven't forgotten me. You still care.
I do. I want to be your friend. I want to very badly.
I do too. That's what I want. Did you get my letter?
I did. Reverend Tuck will help us. He says the church needs a gardener to work in exchange for living in that little cottage in the backyard.
Yes, yes.
Her eyes lit up.
That's perfect. Perfect. I want it.
She leaned forward hungrily.
But here's the thing. You've got to give Reverend Tuck a resume, and then his council has to discuss it. All of that could take a month or 2.
A month or 2? And after all that, they'll never vote for me.
She clenched her fist and made a noise in her throat.
There's gotta be a way. Tell me everything he said.
There was just a little more.
Phoebe thought for a few seconds, struggling to remember.
He doesn't have the power to make the choice by himself. It's a church committee that votes. And the issue of your being a Chapman came up.
Abby threw up her hands.
Oh no. Please. No more. I can see it's hopeless.
But Phoebe went right on, remembering the details.
I told Tuck it's an emergency. And he asked, what sort of emergency? I said, people are hunting for you, and we're frightened. He thought the committee would refer the matter to the police, and wasn't sure you would want that. But he told me to get back to him after I spoke to you. And he did say he would do all he could to help you.
An emergency. Yes, of course, an emergency. Reverend Tuck would respond to that. Yes.
That's all I've got right now. I don't think living or working here at the toy store will make sense until we've solved these other problems. I'm even afraid to let you go out into the front room the way things are now. Morphe and his soldiers are on the attack. Do you know about these observation posts?
I know about everything, and it all might work in my favor. I'm making a plan.
Tell me. I'll help you.
You will?
Yes.
I'm gonna need it.
Abby's lips curved into a smile, and she looked Phoebe in the eye. Phoebe was wondering,
why don't people notice that Abby's pretty? George does. He can see this part of her.
They were silent. Amid the din of noises from the backyard, Phoebe heard a voice calling her name in a strained, muffled sort of way, like someone who doesn't want to attract too much attention. She knew that voice, and for a moment wasn't sure if it was a dream connected to her own thoughts, or coming from outside, or both. In a moment, she was out of the room and saw George looking through the back door by the steps.
George, get in here.
He scrambled into the room.
Abby?
George!
He was pale and glistened with sweat. His pupils seemed enlarged.
What is it? Tell us.
George looked around like a hunted person, and then relaxed into a chair, setting a folder of papers on the table.
Oh, it's great to be here. The time I've had, I need an iced tea. Or a bottle of water. And maybe some sugar, like cookies or a candy bar.
Wait here. Relax, you two. Don't go anywhere.
Phoebe stepped outside and blew 3 short bursts on her whistle.
That's it for today, everybody. Let's close it up. See you all tomorrow. Franklin, Danny, Marisol, it's your turn to help, Luis.
Phoebe's signal for the end of the day was met by an outpouring of frustration from the young teens.
But the girls get the field tomorrow. What about us? They get everything. Make a team for us, why don't you?
I need an ice pack. Luis never calls anything. Watch, next time, I'll punch somebody. Either you red card him, or I punch him.
Maybe I should red card you, Chris.
Ask Luis. Nico is fouling. He slide tackled my ankle. I'm not gonna take it.
What do you think, Lewis?
It was a little hard to see. But Chris is probably right. Let's say I missed a call. I'm sorry. It went by quick, and I wasn't sure. It's getting dark. We do need those lights.
Thank you, Lewis. You're very fair. Tell Nico I've red carded him for tomorrow. Let him speak to me if he complains. Is that fair, Chris?
He nodded.
Do you still need an ice pack?
I'll get home and ice it.
Let me see you stand on it.
Chris stood on his left foot and hopped twice.
It's okay.
Sorry, Chris. We'll do better tomorrow.
He nodded and limped off. Phoebe took out two $20 bills and handed them to Luis with a word of thanks.
For this week. I know it's nothing for what you do.
He smiled. A glimmer of light shone from his cheerful dark eyes.
So, you like my new field? I was a little worried.
It's wonderful. Just wonderful. I'll talk to Sammy about it tonight.
I know you're very busy, but I've got an idea. Tell your boss I'll work for him. Just minimum wage. You need help.
We do? Are you coming tomorrow?
Yes.
Come early, like midday. I'll try to work this out.
It'll be good for the both of us.
Can I ask another favor?
Yes?
Take, this $20 more. Go in Sammy's back door and buy a large iced tea, a water, and a coffee to go. No sugar. And spend the rest on muffins and cookies. And bring them to a room where you keep the soccer equipment. Is that okay? I hate to ask all this. I've got two friends in there who are, well, hiding. Pretend you don't see them.
No problem. I know you'll help me too.
I want to. I'll do my best. I've got to go relieve Gilligan. He'll be mad. Close it up.
Phoebe limped back into the main room. A long line of people waited at the cash register. Gilligan's face was set in a frozen frown. His thin lips were tightly pressed together and bloodlessly white. He turned to Phoebe with a blaze in his eye.
Go outside. There's been an accident. They used our phone to call an ambulance.
His anger and tension were leaking out into the room like a dangerous odor. He pointed to the courtyard.
There's been an accident. They used our phone to call an ambulance.
Hard to keep going when it hurts so much to live. You know it takes so much more than all you've got to give. Reach for me, 'cause I'm all out of strength today. Please show me the way. Please show me the way. I'll put one foot after another if you just keep me going. Give me hope that it matters, and I'll follow the way you're showing. Reach for me, 'cause I'm all out of strength today. Please show me the way. Please show me the way. Are you out there? Tell me, are you in there? Does anyone hear my call? It's got to mean something that's anything here at all. Reach for me, reach for me, 'cause I'm all out of strength today. Please show me the way. Please show me the way. Please show me the way. Please show me the way.
Thanks for listening to the Protectors of the Wood podcast. Find all our podcasts, songs, and projects on our website, protectorsofthewood.com. And to all the eco warriors out there, remember that everyone can make a difference and every action counts.